Welcome back learners to Nuzhat online class. So today we are going to do chapter 2 History and Evolution of Computers for Standard 9. So let's begin. So here is our History of Computers topic and let's start with Abacus. So Abacus looks like this. It is known as counting frame also, and it is basically a calculating tool. So Abacus is the earliest calculation device. Abacus were 10 beads strung into wires attached to a frame which was used to perform simple calculation. You can do addition, multiplication, subtraction, division, square root and cube root also from this abacus. And the purpose of this calculating tool, or we can say counting frame or abacus, was to teach arithmetic calculations to children and to serve as a calculating tool to everybody. And then this tool comes in different variants also, like Roman abacus, or we can say binary abacus. But the advantage of this tool is it can help blind people also. I mean, how fantastic it is. Blind people also can do calculation with abacus. Then the second thing we are going to see is Pascal. So in year 1642, Pascal calculator was invented by Blaise Pascal. So Blaise Pascal was a person's name who invented Pascal, which was a basic calculator which would do only limited jobs. And it also has a very interesting story behind. So Blaise Pascal's father was a local administrator in his father was basically doing text calculations or text computations. So he was doing text computations and there was a lot of calculate. So his son, that is Blaise Pascal, invented calculator. So Pascal was the first basic calculator, but it had a drawback that it could do only limited jobs. That is, it could do calculation to a certain limit. Then third we have in 1690 and it is Leibniz. What is Leibniz? Leibniz is a calculating machine that could perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and square roots. However, the instructions were hard coded into the machine and could not be changed. So, this was the drawback of this machine. I will explain you what it does. If you are giving an instruction of an addition to this machine, you can't change your instruction then. If once your instruction is given, that is given. Till it gets output, you can't give your another instructions or you can't change your instruction. Then next is 1822 difference engine. Difference engine was invented by Charles Babbage. His invention could perform calculations without human intervention. So yeah, this line is important. That means that without human interference it could do calculations. If you give input once, that is, if you give instruction or if you give calculation, it could do it by itself and it could show output also. Then after that, in 1823, analytical engine was invented. This was also invented by Charles Babbage only, but this has the technology of analytical engine provided the base to the technology of modern computers. Yes, you are listening correct. So in today's era, we are using laptops. Everything is based on this analytical engine. So yes, it was the great invention by Charles Babbage, and that's why Charles Babbage is as the father of computer. So the analytical engine had an arithmetic unit to perform calculations and mechanism to store results and instructions. And on that way also, this was the first who could store results also. Till now, we did calculations, but it could not store. But this analytical engine was able to store the results and instructions till certain limit. Then, as I told you earlier, Babbage is known as the father of computers. Then, next thing we are going to see, there is Direct in 1940. Now, John von Neumann encoded the instructions in the language. He was the force behind the development of the first stored program concept. Now here, as we saw in analytical engine, it used to store result, but it used to store result certain limit. Now to increase that limit or how to store data, John von Neumann has invented the first stored program computer. So if we have today the concept of storage and all, it is all because of this man. Then next we see is 1946 ENAC or Enac. Many people say Enac, I say then. It was by J. Presper Eckert and John W. Mauchly. So it was invented giant ENIAC machine at the University of Pennsylvania. Now what is ENAC? So ENAC is basically electrical numerical integrator and calculator. was the first machine to use large number of vacuum tubes. Now till here we didn't had the concept of vacuum tubes, but in 1946 these machines vacuum tubes, and this is a very giant machine also. So it will accumulate so much of vacuum tubes, right? And the machinery required a big space, obviously, as it is giant, and a lot of energy to keep it cool. Obviously, if it has vacuum tubes, it will release heat energy. So there will be consumption of lot of energy to keep it cool also. Then further, it had punch card. Basically, punch card was invented by Hermann Hollerith and Semyon Korsakov. So it has an interesting story also, that when Helvin went into a bus and he was seeing that a bus conductor is punching in the tickets, it indicates that ticket is occupied. So then he got the concept of how can be used for storing program also. So from that, punch card came into use, and here it used as input and output too. Then the instructions had to be fed into the machine by the way of switches, because there was no internal memory within the machine. So here Enac didn't had internal memory only. More we will see evolution of computers in the next video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned in for more. Thank you so much.